left it. I'm like, what did I even mean?
Let's make things.
All right, let's call to order. 7:01. Pledge of allegiance. Wait on Stephen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there, I got talked to a couple of people this past week that they cannot hear.
Oh, I don't know if I had this plugged in last time, but I do now.
Okay.
So, we'll see here. All right, approval of the bills. Do I have it? That's it. Zach didn't turn any hours in this week. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask him. The tractor is, well, it's not gonna be on this one, but the tractor's down. It is at John Deere getting the cab removed. It's broke, so some linkage.
Well, whole new tractor for what those ones are.
I don't know. So we bought that in like 1991, I think, and so if we have to put some money into it, whatever.
It's thick.
Is it? How much? What's the damage?
I don't, see no bill.
Well, here's a dipstick, and oil filter for $146.
Well, it's gonna be more than that.
Yeah, they had to take the cab off for that?
Yeah, that's.
Check the oil tank.
I don't know yet. That'll be next month.
We got some late breaking bills here to add to that. In the
Okay.
water fund, we bought 6 meters or meter sets for $1,110.
Those are the meter sets we're gonna put in at the hotel for the new apartments and convenience store.
I just got the bill this afternoon in the mail from Farm and Home, $59.99. Can you tell us what that is, sir?
No.
Hopefully it's not candy bars.
If I thought about it or looked through my text messages, I could probably find it.
And then Walmart, Capital One, $65.99. I saw the receipt on that, but I can't remember.
It's for the phone we were setting up,
Answering machine
Prepaid.
or something, wasn't it?
prepaid phone card.
Okay. No, that's general fund.
That's how we're gonna do it for now. That should last us a while. All right, if there is no objections, I need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. What am I doing? Financial reports.
Any questions, Quentin?
Not yet,
Not yet?
but be prepared.
Page 1? Page 1?
Okay.
This is a general fund. In the old days, we called it a balance sheet. You have the checking savings account. A few other items, some fixed assets. But everybody's interested in how much cash we have on hand. That would be that $276,396. Page 2. General fund revenue for since the last board meeting compared to last year at this time.
Always gotta have that mark next to them.
Mm-hmm. We can change that and just put a little
Yeah, put a plus there next to
vertical right there.
And then page 3 is the year-to-date numbers. page 4 is the check register, all the deposits and checks written that went through the checking account. Page 5, water fund. This is the balance sheet for the water fund. Water fund is on March 4th at $476,000. And we have debt of about 296. We're paying those rural development bonds off, I think about 7,000 a year. Plus interest.
Mm-hmm.
Page 6, revenue and expenses in water fund since the last board meeting. And then page 7, 7 is the year-to-date figures compared to last year. Revenue is pretty comparable, the expenses just slightly higher. And page 8 and 9 are all the check activity going through the checking account. We have the sewer fund on page 10. Sewer has about 338,000 balance. Sewer has no debt. Page 11. Revenue and expenses since last month. And then page 12, the year to date. Page 13, a short page, that's what went through the checking account this past month. And then page 14, motor fuel tax fund. It increases about $1,400 a month, or a monthly allotment. So we have roughly 145,000, which is $8.
Yeah. Almost the whole street.
It might be a whole street, but well, it's you. Page 15, you'll see the revenue came in for the month. And then page 16, year to date. Revenue and motor fuel tax doesn't vary very many dollars. Any questions about it?
Pretty much the same old, is fortunately.
Yeah.
Farm and Home, Seafoam. That's what that was for.
I'm sorry.
Nothing. I was looking back, I said Farm and Home, Seafoam, and some motor treatment. We already passed that though.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve the financial reports?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. To approve financial report. February minutes.
Found a mistake on it. You guys
Says
was
they're
here a
gonna
long
change the
time.
time.
Quentin found a mistake.
You guys were here till 7:53 in the morning.
Yep, so
They couldn't function without us, Quentin.
I'm glad I missed that one.
All right.
Kim, a lot of questions people have is why these are a month
Thanks, Bob.
late.
See ya.
Aye.
Thanks, Bob. Why these are a month late? That's because we have to approve them from the last meeting before we can post them.
Right.
So these are the board approving the minutes from the last meeting. And they should be, oh, they're right in your hand, never mind.
So the time's wrong and who closed
So
the
have
meeting
we-
out is wrong.
Have we,
Mm.
made the purchase for the playground equipment?
No, I intend on doing that probably Wednesday. So we got possible snow flurries coming in this week, so once I sit down and order it this week, by the time it gets warm enough and dry enough to put it up,
The, swing sets are over here.
yeah, right over here.
What about the pickleball, have they been ordered?
Yep, waiting on it to come in.
They're not here yet?
No,
Okay, so
I would say within the week, maybe next week.
Yeah, so we gotta make arrangements to get those in.
Yep, we also have to paint.
And the stripping,
Yeah.
striping.
Yep, so we'll go buy paint. We'll
Right.
get a bunch of masking tape.
Are we gonna do that? Or
They were supposed to.
but do we still owe them?
No, I didn't. Well, I'm not paying him that until,
That's what I mean.
that was separate on the quote.
Okay.
And I said, well, I
So
said,
we
we're gonna
can,
pay you for the ceiling, and then,
We get some measurements and do that ourselves? you think?
yeah, I've got printed out diagrams. That's a couple paint rollers and
Yeah, that's all you need.
some straight lines. If you can paint a straight
If we wanna
line,
have tournaments, we better make sure it's exactly measured right.
It's-
Like we want people. to
there's
be able to-
only really one
will
option
be-
for pickleball courts. I mean,
The two posts have to come out for the,
I don't
tennis court or
know.
not?
I'm kind of thrown by that. I'm not sure whether to take them out or
is
not.
one gonna be on one side, one on the other? Well, then maybe they don't have to come out,
They don't really.
yeah,
Um,
cause they're probably in the ground.
yeah. Well, those were put in when the place was built, so you'd be cutting them off and putting filler in if we do. I don't know. Once we get over there and start, I don't think they're going to be in the way. But I got Stapleton's looking at the lights. I haven't heard anything back from him yet, but he's supposed to check it out over the weekend. They haven't been powered on for quite some time, so I don't know how many are going to even still work. They're the old halogen bulbs. Switch over to LED would be pretty
Well,
expensive.
That's
I
the
don't-
way to go, they are 10 times more.
Yeah,
Wonder if Ameren would donate something.
that's,
They, and
Maybe.
They do that, I mean.
it is a park, so
They have grants too for parks, yeah.
for right now, I kind of just want to get it operational and see where we're at. At least get power up there to them, and
How about the basketball?
I think,
Board and,
yeah, I need to order another one. I've had trouble getting those, finding a place that will invoice us. So I'll do that after I do the tennis court. We still got one. It's on the list.
We just go
Well,
to
I've
like
done so far.
Dunham's or something over there one,
No, because they won't invoice it.
and just pay for it. Give receipt.
I was gonna say,
Um,
could one of us buy it and get reimbursed? Is
Yes,
that like,
we could.
would that be the easiest solution?
Could. We're a little bit away from warmer weather yet, but I mean, within the next couple weeks, we could probably look at getting together and painting.
stuff.
I forgot where I
I
was.
make a motion
Minutes.
to approve the
Thank you.
minutes with the correction to the time and the motion on the meeting adjourned.
Okay.
Second.
I had one more question on that, burn trash.
Well, let's do it. We got to do the minutes first. Is that in the minutes?
Sorry.
That's all right. I have a section here for board member comments, and we bring up what you got to bring up there. Where were we? Did we vote? We second?
Yeah.
We got a second,
Yeah.
all in favor.
Okay, all in favor? Nays? All right, February minutes are approved. I'm gonna throw in Miko here. Or should we wait till old business?
We can wait.
Okay. All right, so I've got a pitch here to you guys. So with our bank, having hours that almost nobody can get to anymore, New Canton, for one, is switched over to an online billing. So there's going to be lots of Q&A here, and I think I'm prepared. In a 2-stage process, one is switching to digital meters, and I've got some pitches here on why that would, why I think it would help. And separately is an outside or another billing company. So we could, in all intents and purposes, switch over to, it'll give people the availability to automatic withdrawal from their accounts or pay with a credit card. They can see their bills online. If you guys were on Claire and I's side of how the water billing works, it's a lot.
It's painful, but
It is. So we get the meters all have to be read manually, and then that goes to Bob. Bob does the bills. The bills go to the table. Helene comes and gets them, checks them with her accounts, brings them back here. Then they get mailed out, and then we have to go to the bank every day to see who has put their receipt in. And then Claire gets a report on the 14th and about the 21st, and he has to take all the receipts that he gets from the bank, come back to City Hall, and check every account to see who's paid. So, we're kind of in the Stone Age as far as meter reading. So besides the cost of, labor for meter reading, we got the daily trips to the bank, the constant phone calls about water bills. How much do I owe? Where's my bill? She gets them, I get them, Claire gets them, Helene gets them, and Bob gets them. All people call.
And even if Bob doesn't get them directly, he gets them from me, because I can't log into anything and see anybody's water bills, so I have to still get a hold
Yeah,
of Bob.
every time someone calls one of us, we got to call Bob and get the report. And then Bob's got to email the report. We got to come over here and print it out. And then double check with Claire to see which ones he's got in. It is. So, again, it's 2-stage. I'm pitching cellular meters that would read automatically. They would just send to an app and automatically have the report. Another thing is when someone gets a leak, we average out their bill, and the town just eats the cost of the overbill. So it doesn't cost us a lot, but it costs us the chemicals, the pumping, the water storage. With cellular meters or auto reading meters, we could tell if there's a leak day of. So what they look for is an out.
Can they set how does it notify you that there's a leak?
I'll get there. The way it reads is they're looking for at least an hour of inactivity every 24 hours. So if they get continuous 24-hour reading, it's going to flag and send an email to us or them immediately, us and them, if they wish to sign up for the email.
Is that like a leak?
Yeah. So let's just say somebody's pipe busts in their yard. The day after we read the meters, it leaks for a month before we even know what happened.
right.
Okay, so like how Kanan got that email.
Yes. It works just, Hannibal already does this. There's quite a few towns around that do it. Some of the big questions were, what about the people that don't use the internet or have a cell phone? They can still pay at the bank. Or if we set it up, there's multiple options to get into. I'm going to focus first on the meters. The billing, I still have some research to do. So I did get 2 quotes on services, but first I'll focus on the actual meters themselves. From what I understand, about 75% of our meters are already Badger meters. So I contacted the people who sell Badger meters. Just as a visual, using this water meter.
I was just getting ready to fill it up.
So our meter comes in two parts. This is the body of the water meter, and this is the encoder. This is what reads the meter. Badger, if we already have 75% Badger meters in, all we got to do, if we went with Badger, all we have to do is switch this piece. Takes a flat screwdriver, and about 10 minutes to put one on. And then the little cellular readers go in the lid, which we'd have to buy new lids. But if we went with a different company, we've got to break every single water line in town and put this in.
In and out. In and out.
Yeah, and they're compression fittings and have a seal, but some, you know as well as I do, if you break this seal, it's maybe not going to seal back up. But if we went with Badgers, all we got to do is the encoder. These pop off, and they pop right on.
Well, if we already have 75% of them, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer.
So well, I'll pitch you the numbers first.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's a lot cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. So if we had to buy the whole set, it's about $80,000. So that includes the software, which is $10,000. They don't give that away.
Is that annually or?
That's a one-time fee. So the price per meter,
I bet the software you have to renew.
I mean, I would think of it.
We have
no,
to
you
renew
buy
all of our
no, you
software.
buy the software. That's one of the questions I asked them. I said, how many times am I going to have to give you $10,000? They said once. You buy the software. So you actually owning a license to the software, not just a usage fee. The price, this is just for the cellular meters, to use them and be operational is $1.03 per month per meter. So $200. Right now we have 192 services. We're putting in more, so we'll have about 200.
Are those something that we'd have on hand if we added,
We'd have extras.
or we can get more?
Yep.
But then
So-
the cost would have to be,
Well, that'd be upkeep in the water system, maintenance fees. And so like when we buy them now, they just come out of the water fund maintenance fees. We account for that every year and allot so much. If we went Badgers, we don't need to buy 200 of these.
Right.
We only need to buy these, and that's about $10,000 cheaper. So if, some of them aren't going to seat right, will be a problem. But I expect about 150 to 175 of these we don't need to replace. And that costs savings about 10 grand. So you're looking now, you're back down to around 70,000.
Well, that's one of them, the whole thing's completely, updated cost. If we had the other 25% in town that we gotta replace, two Badger, what's one of them cost, just one?
245 with the encoder and the base. I'm sorry. $315 a piece with the encoder and the base.
and then those be Badger, so they'd all be,
We'd all have the same
Same.
stuff. So the reason they're not all the same now is some of them are super old. So those old ones that we have to put new bases in, we can't anticipate problems.
you still have a shut off on them?
Yep, we wouldn't even change any of the piping or anything. We just take this cap, take the old cap off, put this cap on. This is not an actual meter. This is an auto reading, like a one you have to go around and touch
Okay, so where does that thing go, that reader?
in the lid. And it mounts flush. So see how it's got a flush mount with a bezel?
Okay, so do we bore holes?
No, we just buy new lids.
Buy new lids?
Plastic lids, yeah. And they're $35 a piece. But this is just an idea for a pitch. if we were to go forward with this, it's gotta be appropriated, and that can't happen till July. But this could be up and running summer.
So who would have the control on the water billing then?
So there'll be 3 licenses. So that's something that's separate. That doesn't count. Now this one, and we don't have to do, we can do one or the other or both. We don't have to do all of it
So you
together.
could do just this and then keep with the current, Bob does the billing.
And then next year, if we want to wait and appropriate it and then bring all the, appropriate this for the next year. But I had a lot of questions about this, and there's multiple options. So they can just do, well, they can do a lot. So they would go all the way to receive all the payments, make the deposits in our water fund, print out the billing, and mail them out. Now with our small operation here in town and the mail already being bad, we probably wouldn't opt to do that. We'd probably just have them printed here and go ahead and mail them out ourselves. I just see that being a problem if they're coming from,
I mean, that's not hard.
Did the one have
But-
the option for paperless billing?
yes.
So
So
they
it
would
wouldn't
have
be
to
200.
Sign up for it though? Like it's
Yeah.
not something we could say your bill's gonna be sent to your email?
No, because
Well, I guess we would.
there's people that don't have even
emails
cell
for
phones,
everybody.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
They will also send out late notices and disconnect notices.
This eliminates the need for reading the meter, is that correct?
So what's the
and this
initial
part,
cost?
depending, so I've got 2 different companies. I pulled the one from New Canton, and then I realized that I didn't ask her how many services they have. So I've got numbers here, but I don't know how many services they have. This
I mean,
one,
the cost of everything together to make the meters work, yeah.
80 grand.
80 grand,
For
that's
the
it.
meters, that doesn't include the billing stuff.
Minus, if we went with Badger,
Maybe 70.
about 70-ish. I haven't sat down with a calculator, but he's got a total here of 72,800, and what's 35 times 200? 60.
7,000.
Deb's on it.
7,000. So that's where I got the 80,000. 8, 9. That equals 79,800. So that's close.
I mean, we're looking at, we're doing the water tower and all that. I mean, that's gonna cost us. And, I mean, yeah, I know this system, there's a lot of parts to it, but maybe we ought to save our money for that.
Well, that's one of the big things was anticipating problems for hooking up a new water service. Well, our water mains are new 10, 12 years ago. The town is not going to explode when we hook a new line up to it. I anticipate very little problems. We also have, what did he say, 400,000 in cash. We won't need any of that really for the water project itself. So we talked to borrowing at like 0.9. The numbers fluctuate as interest rates do, but it's not gonna shoot up to like a 12% or nothing. And then with the forgiveness, we're really not gonna be paying much out of pocket out of that water fund at all for the new project. So that's just money we have. We kind of already did the savings. For with all the years we haven't done anything with the water, we kind of already, we have the money. Plus some. If this were going to be $300,000, it's going to drain us down to $100,000, there's no way I'd consider it.
Right.
But we're talking 70 out of whatever we have. What did he say? Close to 400,000. So yeah, it's 25% of our savings, which is a big chunk.
Yeah. Does New Canton have them type of meters?
No, they went just with the billing.
Okay.
So the billing itself, if I've calculated right, which I don't have a good pitch for you on the water billing, but about $7,500 up front. That's again another software license you got to use. But I've done research about making sure that they merge, you know, they work together, because there's certain companies that
What's their estimate for annual?
that's what I'm still unclear on. So
Yeah, if we, you know, if we go with somebody, you get all these surprise billings, like, well, here's another $6
I mean, if
grand.
it's like
So-
anything
Yeah,
we do,
exactly.
So-
every year they wanna increase
So the billing
price.
does have an annual license renewal and an annual software maintenance and support and an annual customer service. So they rack it up. So where this is all we buy and we're good to go, and the only cost moving forward is $1.03 for the meters.
For meters.
That's there is no
Right.
monthly, yearly thing with that. You buy this stuff, they sell it to you, and it's yours. Only thing you're paying is the cellular fees because you're using tower signals. This, not so much. It's more expensive. I'd say, I'm gonna guess $2,500 a year. And that's with billing to pay. So you gotta remember, this company sells us hardware, and there's no service they have to do after that. They're just selling us hardware. This is the service, is the labor and the billing. So we're gonna have to pay them. It's gonna be,
Right.
this is gonna be a reoccurring cost. The meters themselves is we buy and it's ours. I'm gonna say about $2,500 to get off the ground, $7,500 to get first year fee.
And what's that company's name?
This is Cambridge Tech out of Carlisle, Illinois, and Unibilling is what New Canton's using. I've not
Is that what Barry uses
I
too?
think it is.
Does Barry have online billing? So,
I had that in
I feel
um,
like that's what was on their website.
2 years
They
ago.
probably have that digital reading too, I mean.
they do not.
Oh, they don't.
Barry is reading all theirs, and I've talked to the mayor, and he said they've got quotes for them. It's a much
I mean,
bigger
wow.
investment. So for us at
So we
200
could
services,
potentially
it's a
do the
lot
online
easier for us to
billing
do.
without billing.
And again, this can't really be, I'm gonna need to know whether you guys are involved in this, because if nobody's interested, I'm not gonna keep making phone calls to vendors, and
Right, right, right.
I'm talking to Chris about it, but if you're interested, I can keep moving. Now, there's not a lot of steps to go through, except for this. This is pretty much ready to go. For me, it seems like it's almost a no-brainer for Badger, because we already have the Badgers and the labor to switch them out. You gotta remember, if we're switching out new bodies, bases, we gotta pay for that labor.
Some of the bodies will have to switch. And is that us
We will.
or is that,
No, that's us.
okay, does that mean a plumber? Or
No,
is
we can do that.
We can do that?
The only
We'll have
thing
to
that-
hire somebody to dig.
Shouldn't be any digging. You
Just
can do
in
that.
a hole?
It's 2 compression fittings. Yep, 2 compression fittings on the inside. You unscrew that side, you unscrew that side, pull the yoke apart, slide the old one out, stick that in there, and screw them back together.
Okay, is it shut off before the meter?
Yes.
Okay, so you can just shut the meter, or water off to change those out?
Yep.
Simple.
Now, a handful of those are probably going to break when we go to shut them off because they haven't been turned, and you know,
They're the good people that pay the-
then you got to
Then the
change.
plumber's gotta come in.
Not
But it's
necessarily.
slipped under the radar.
We're legal to do that ourselves. A lot of the liability, like I've had some of them, if there's a gas line or fiber line running right on top of it, I'm contracting that out because it's just not worth it. It's worth it to pay somebody else to come in the backhoe and screw it up instead of us.
$5 grand just to replace the fiber line or just splice it back in.
Yeah.
Plainville had that 3 times in I think 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We don't want to.
Pretty expensive.
That's down the road stuff. I really don't anticipate very many of them being that bad. Even the other bodies, whatever they are, they still are 3/4 inch compressions. There's a little gasket that goes in here. And that's it. So the meters, like I said, that's what I'm pitching for appropriations for next year to talk about, which will be June or July. This is buying a hardware and it's ours. We own it. This is a monthly service that I need a little more information, but the roundabout fees are about $7,500 to get going and $2,500 a year after that, ish. This is more. I can accurately say 70 to 80,000.
So I'm confused. If you do the meters, they have a software that does the billing and the
No.
online payment.
No, they have a software that will send the stuff to.
So we
So
still
we
have to pay that.
that
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a two-stage thing.
Have you asked, like in our job, like not all of our programs talk to other programs?
Yes, I've
Yeah,
got
for sure.
the ones I'm lining up are
Okay.
compatible with each other, and I'm keeping them
So
separate.
then really the only thing this is saving us is the labor costs to, I mean, I understand the process
Yeah.
is a lot. Can we not simplify that process the way, like who came up with that process? Did
Well-
somebody
Well-
25 years ago say this sounds really great and this is how we're going to do it? Or is it legally the way that we have to do it?
No, we still have to go send someone out with a notepad and paper to read a meter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still have to send it to Bob, who does our bills. Our bank doesn't have any kind of spreadsheet or software that automatically shows us a deposit, so we still have to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that aspect, the only other thing, I mean, sending somebody out to the meters, I think the only thing that would make the rest of that shorter would be to have somebody who sits in the office like a secretary that does that. And so then Claire wouldn't have to do that paper running,
There's another thing in the
I think.
when it gets super cold, if we got single digit, we don't read meters, we just average them.
Mm-hmm.
So we
I
could
guess I'm
lose
just
money and make money on that deal.
Looking at
but-
it as someone who is a taxpayer, like I would opt for the digital billing because that is the big complaint is like I can't pay my bill, which I put mine in the Dropbox at the bank. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I see
and
the
I know
benefit of the
sometimes
both.
I may
From
not
a
get it,
customer
but
standpoint, I absolutely would love this.
yeah, and I don't mind that. It's the price that is kicking me on that. Like, that's gonna take a long time to pay itself off. And
Good.
it would, but I mean 10, 15
I mean, I guess it
years
also
down
depends
the
on how
road.
long it takes an employee to do that, because that would pay it off quicker.
And you got to figure in labor and
So how long does it take you to read the meters?
Well, it takes about all day, about 7 hours or something like that.
Plus you got gas.
Except in February.
Mm-hmm.
plus the vehicle, yeah, plus the truck running around and the in and out and
Snack time, stuff like that.
yeah. Then after you're done with that, you still got to go to the bank every day and get the receipt.
Does the bank charge us for doing all that service for us? They don't charge us to die.
No,
I don't
and
think they do, but
we get lucky. They're not required to, but they keep a ledger
That's,
on a
do
notepad and a piece
yeah,
of
I was
paper.
gonna say it probably hasn't changed since
We're
I
not
worked
gonna
there.
get-
We just
No.
wrote it on a
Yeah,
pretty
notebook.
nice.
we're not going to get everybody to do
there's
that
always
for
the
us.
off chance that they could
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
we're not doing
Um,
that too. And
So the people that
Well,
don't
then we
have
would just have to have a Dropbox here. and
internet
somebody
or
would have
whatever,
to-
they would still be paying.
Drive all the way up.
They can still pay at the bank.
Okay, will that still go through the system like it is currently, or would
No,
that change?
no, it would be, well, it'd go direct into the account. Yeah, theirs would still
So
be the
that all
same.
meters read, I guess somebody gets the reading. Who is that?
Either whoever we select, you can get up to 3 different people
In the village?
that have access to it.
Okay,
So, but every customer, if they have a cell phone and a computer and they want to see their everyday usage, they can log on. Every single one of them can log on.
yeah,
If they've got a complaint that said my bill's too high, they can log on and see exactly what they've used.
So either way, because if we still have the option to pay at the bank, and I think we should as long as they'll let us, somebody's still gonna have to go up there and see if somebody's made their payment or not.
No, with that, it'll all be, well, that one, yes. Yeah.
So that's not.
So
For those who still pay in person,
Hmm.
we'll still have to check it.
And really, we only have to check it. I mean, technically, you could go and pull it like the day that it's due, and then again the day that we typically would shut off, right?
I think
Yeah.
So
that's
you could
probably
do
when it
it
happens
twice.
the most.
Yeah,
except for
because I
when we
remember
get
Claire would call or
calls.
he'd come through the drive and say, "Have you seen so and so? Have they paid their bill yet?"
Yeah.
And then that's a lot of it is also we haven't dug into these water bills, but for the longest time, I was having to explain every single water bill. Well, that ends all that crap.
So if you
So then nobody
just
can
went
see.
with these and you can log in and see your
No,
water
you can see
usage.
it. There'd be a printout. If we still want to print out, we can do a printout every month at the meetings.
If you just did this and not the electronic billing, you can log in and see your water usage at any time. Can you see how much your bill would be?
No, it's just
it won't tell you
usage.
amounts, it'll just tell you
It just tell you usage.
quantities? Okay.
So it's just something to think about. We can't really vote on it now. That's not on the agenda either. It's just the pitch for upcoming appropriations. Any more questions on the idea? All right.
I have a question.
yes.
I'm sorry. Go for it. Your plastic covers that you're gonna put, are they gonna be safe to be run over with like the mower and?
They lock down and they have the same lock on them. They're made to fit
It's not gonna
the
crack
bevel.
the plastic.
No, they're this thick, and I don't have one, but
How big is your lawnmower?
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
Sometimes
Hey.
there's like
Just cover
snow
our
that the car
bases.
could go over too.
a car won't hurt these.
Okay.
So you still have some more, you're just trying to get an idea whether we're interested in doing it before
I'm not-
you can.
I'm not going to waste my time digging into
Well,
it
yeah, I
if
understand
nobody's
that, but
interested.
It's, you know, this is,
I'm just letting you know that this is a two-part process. You can do one, or you can do this one, or we can do them both. Or we could do, I hate to do just half the meters, or
That was another thought. If we did it
We
in
could.
sections, like spread it out over 3 years or
Well, if
something. but-
75% of ours are one pump, you could do this 75% pretty easily.
Yeah, it would just be the pain of, like, I guess I was thinking if we did it like, do the East Street, then do the Main Street, and then like, you could at least, like, it'd be easier for whoever was still manually reading, instead of being
Well,
like,
that's
oh yeah,
true.
that house over there on this street, we
Have
still
to
have to
unpack
do,
what
and
to-
that one.
I'm not against that. It's just, if let's just say 3 years. Then I've got 3 years of figuring in appropriations, 3 years.
Well, I also
then
think
I'm-
you have to think about too, like, it's gonna be harder and harder. And there's a lot that goes on, and I'm not saying anything bad about, Claire's job or anything, but like, it's gonna be harder and harder to justify having a full-time person if we keep backing some, and it makes sense to move out of this
Well,
back
it's
and
just,
forth,
yeah,
but
it's keeping up with the times.
is there an added fee or bill?
No, we have enough.
This is all on-
We have enough income and enough cash in the bank to pull the trigger on it. I mean, it depends on our
What's
mates.
that? Sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The $1.03
It's a monthly per meter.
monthly per meter. So, I mean, if, say you did do this, add that to the water bill to just off.
Yeah, but
Cause that's not that,
if we don't need to raise the water bills, I'm not going to. So I want to make sure we have enough cushion for if something goes wrong, but also we've saved up $400,000. So there's just not a lot of reason to keep increasing every year. This would
We
be
voted for the
paid.
annual increase anyway, how much
we
was
just
that?
did it not
Yeah.
that long ago.
We've got enough cash on hand to do this without raising the water bill.
What about, is there any kind of a projected amount that the billing's gonna be after the water project? Or
Same.
is that-
We're covered. We don't need to.
there'll be no
We don't need to raise
increase
water bills for the water.
after $1 million plus project? There's
No.
no increase in water?
Not at point
Except
nine.
for the regular annual.
Not at 0.9% interest. No.
Heck, I think go ahead and do it.
Well,
Well, it doesn't really matter because I didn't re-up for the board. But
this is just.
I would be interested to hear more, both as a board member and as a person who uses the water.
As a customer, Kelsey, and I
Yes, as a
certainly want to know more
customer,
about
I want
online
to know more
billing.
about the online billing.
I need more about the billing.
I think
Um,
that it solves a lot of the problems that we have heard, and I understand the other two. And I think
Yeah.
if you would have said, you know, $30,000 or $40,000, that would have been a little bit easier sell for me.
I was expecting 200, 250.
I expect a pretty high number as well. I mean, but
So-
80,000, that's, I mean.
That's not a. That's not something you want
That's
to
just
just.
my 2 cents on
Brings
it.
it down to 70,000.
That's 200
That's even
meters?
better.
Yeah.
Is that any more than 200? I mean, are we gonna have any in stock?
Not a. Yeah. Well, our supplier gets them to us pretty quick. He's fairly local.
I mean, but
he
there's
drove
no
down there.
reason you couldn't keep like 2 or 3.
Right.
It's not
Oh,
like,
I'd say-
in a
I'd say
town this
5.
size.
You'd
Yeah,
wanna
there's
keep
not
5.
a lot
Yeah.
that goes on. You know, it's not like we're having them break once a week or something.
But it,
especially if
$315
we're
bucks and
going
get 5 of them extra and just.
Right.
Yeah, we have extras now. But with those extras, we can use those still. So anyway, I don't want to get too far into this and spend too long on it.
It's important enough, though.
Yeah, it's a
We
good
need to make a
idea.
decision on it.
No, we don't. Not till July. We can't spend the money even if we wanted to till it's appropriated.
But we need to consider it.
That's why I'm doing
We
it
need to
now.
highly consider it because it's about time we
That's
do
what.
something about it.
Well, that's why I'm pitching to you now. So that concludes my proposal for
Are you all right with where we're at tonight?
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna move forward with the quotation on the auto billing. I need a better number, but
We'd like a slide.
I focused on the meters first, and I got that. That's not the only place I checked, but with the Badger option, it just doesn't. Anyway, code hearing reports. I've got 2 of them going out this month for possible court dates in next month. The one we have ticketed for probably 5 years, and it is the worst it's ever been.
It's pretty bad.
So I'm gonna be. The warning will be quite stern that they already have an outstanding balance. I will go in there and clean that property up, and I will lien their property. We'll sell it on the courthouse steps. It needs to be cleaned up.
Is this
They're-
the one
they're
that
Christmas
we were
trees.
doing daily we threatened daily
Yeah.
charges on before?
Yeah, they're Christmas trees laying in the front yard with like 6 couches and
Where is this one at?
Spread outside of town.
yeah, on the
Spread
highway.
outside of town.
It-
Oh, down here?
It's ridiculous.
Is that dumpster still in the backyard?
Yeah. Republic's asked me about it, and I said, just go get it.
Can't get it.
And they want me to drag it to the road, and I said, well, I can, but
They can't exactly-
I'll go over there with an officer and hook a chain on it and pull it, and here's your dumpster. But if they want it, they can get it themselves. But there's semi parts, truck frames, at least 3 unlicensed vehicles. I'm gonna have their attention pretty quick. Old business. I'm gonna throw in old business, and one of them was street signs. Just real quick, the reports. This is from February 1st to the 28th.
Street signs. Oh,
1,664 people were going over 40 miles an hour just westbound. 103 people were going over 50 just westbound, only westbound. 28 people were going over 56, and 5 people were going over 61. There's currently someone, and if they're listening or they know who's doing it, At about 5 a.m. every morning, they come through at 60. So if you're listening or knows someone that drives through Hull, I suggest that stop, because there'll be an officer in town pretty soon.
60 mile an hour.
60 miles an hour every single morning at 5
They'll get
a.m.
faster soon.
westbound. And I know
You
what
can
lane
tell
they're in, I know
it's
which way
warm
they're
up.
going. So that's why I have this stuff.
In my sleep, when I'm laying in bed, I'm like,
Just in total,
Is it a
2,000.
loud vehicle?
No.
What's the daily traffic through here a day?
Oh, I'd have to look that up. But
that's a good question.
ballpark.
There's a website. There's a
for
state
February,
Put up like a toll booth or something?
well, these count, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Man, it-
Westbound for the month of February was 14,000 vehicles. Eastbound was 13,283. There's a lot more traffic here than you think there is. But all in all, 2,070 vehicles were going over 40 miles an hour in February. Both ways.
Is there a
Well, we should just up the speed limit to 40.
or any fines?
No, we didn't have any officer hours this month. And we only pay for 18,
Without a ticket.
we only pay for 18 hours.
The state did
So
pull
it's like-
in the other morning, but then they.
State
went
was
after
there,
somebody right after.
I saw the state cops here,
Yeah, 'cause
he was
right
here
across
about
from me,
5
like
minutes and,
3:30 in the morning.
well, he was right across from
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
Then he went down, I'm not too sure, maybe to the firehouse. I think that's where he turned around and then I didn't see him.
So county's been spending some time without us paying them in Hull. I've seen them a good handful of
How about
times.
vigilante?
Well,
We can't do that.
there used to be a guy that would, if you ever knew him. Old business also. I'd like to throw in Kevin Garnett from Miko. We'll throw that on old business.
Just wanted to give you all a quick update on the water project. We've got the report about 98% done right now. It will be submitted to IEPA by the 26th of this month. That gets it on IEPA's, officially on their list and starts the process through IEPA. So it'll be the engineering report and the initial funding nomination form. So that's when in IEPA's, in their mind, that's when it becomes a project. So that will go in by the end of this month. We're down to just a few final details, getting the financials on all the different options that we looked at, getting those worked out and finalized. Looking at a couple of different options, both with wells on, basically wells at the base of the bluff and a tower, or, sorry, a ground storage tank on top of the bluff. Just looking at a couple of different options, one on the other side of the interstate, one on this side of the interstate, looking at cost differences between the interstate bore versus no interstate bore. That interstate bore itself is about a $300,000 piece of the project. So it's a little bit further to stay on this side of the interstate, but with the dropping that bore out, it pencils out pretty evenly. So looking at those options, and then from there it's on to environmental clearances, and then while IEPA's, it's running through their process and getting the environmental clearances, and we can start then into the design side of it a little bit more in depth at that point too. The other thing I wanted to bring in was the rail crossings. Still looking at those with IDOT and the Illinois Commerce Commission. So we're still trying to get that worked through. I've got a call into IDOT right now to get that fired back up. We want to get that back on the radar to get those two crossings upgraded and get those brought up to IDOT standards. Both of those, my understanding is that those are still, would be no cost for the village. It's a reimbursement program, so the village would end up paying out to for the engineering and for the construction, but then ICC through IDOT would then refund that would reimburse the village for the work that's done on both of those, so.
How long does it take to get that money back?
About a month,
Oh.
yeah. It's
Have you heard anything from the railroad? They haven't mentioned, we started this like 4 years ago and then I emailed him and they haven't pushed it.
No, they
So-
haven't pushed it. Last time I talked with them was about 4 months ago. I talked with Aaron,
Oh, okay.
and he said it's still on their project list, but they're kind of slow playing it. They knew there was some local resistance to removing the one crossing, so they didn't want to push too hard on any of that. So it's just kind of at the speed of what we can get worked through IDOT. So.
That was Aaron Tolliver. Was that
Yeah.
who that was?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't contacted me for over a year, so. All right. Well, if you're still in touch with them, then
Yep.
I assume they still want it done.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Any other questions for Miko tonight? Are we still looking at one site or are we still looking at multiple sites?
On the water,
Yeah, just for the wells.
for the wells, we're evaluating basically two different sites right now. And that's still gonna be a little bit up in the air because one of the next steps, once we've kind of gotten everything into IEPA, we'll have to get a test well put down at whatever our preferred location is to check for both quantity and quality of water at that location. We've got some basic information, and I did talk with Bill Boehner over at the Illinois Rural Water Conference a couple weeks ago, and he was sharing some information with me too on several years ago whenever this was going through the process. So he shared some information on where he remembered the best quality of water being out on the far side of the interstate. So we're taking another look at those and seeing if we can identify some areas. Then at some point, whether Miko reaches out or Village reaches out or we do it together, we need to start talking with some property owners on actually looking at, okay, who would be willing to at least put an option out on a potential site.
Is there some sort of estimate? What would that date be? What, I mean,
As far as
Where- for
the
land.
test wells and land, I would say sometime this summer.
okay.
How big of an area does that take up?
The well site, you're talking half an acre at most. Could be less than that. The tank site, it's gonna be probably about that same size on top of the bluff.
Do you, are you in conversation with property owners?
We have not gone into and talked to any individual property owners at this point. We're just looking at where some potential, where the properties are that would be suitable for the elevation and the kind of the physical characteristics of the properties.
Right, and then you're gonna put a tank on top,
Yeah.
and we'd have access to it, or would
Yeah.
have to have, so
Yeah,
there
you'll
has to be a
access.
road to
Yeah,
it.
there will be a road to it.
I mean, there's gonna be an access road or something.
Yeah.
There ain't a whole lot of roads, up that bluff at all.
No. So there'd have to be an access road and power to the site.
Security fence and,
Yeah.
Kind of like what we got now around our wells. It's just a basic fence.
it's that road that's gonna cost money, getting up there.
And that'll be part of it.
Part of, yeah,
hmm And you don't need a paved road, depending on what equipment we have to get up there, it wouldn't be,
I had a road up on my bluff, and we're talking about the same
yeah,
deal.
it'd be an old logging road probably.
I'm not too sure if I'd be okay with somebody coming on my property. It's the problem.
Well, that's part of the agreement.
That's some hardness to it.
Right.
And we wouldn't really need to go up there.
The whole
To the-
town shouldn't be going.
We wouldn't have to go up there for hardly anything. And it wouldn't even be us, it'd be our water operator.
So where's the, treatment part of this system, is it not up on top?
No, it'd be at the well site, on the bottom of the bluff.
Okay. and then it's pumped back.
Well, there is one of the big things about this is there is no more treatment. If we get good wells, we don't need any treatment for our water anymore.
Not some, but some of it you will. It
No.
doesn't come out just, crystal clear.
So-
This is why we're looking at going against the bluff,
We would be looking at.
so we don't have
wells
fluoride.
Very similar to what, Pike County Water District has with New Canton and Rockport, what, City of Berry and City of Pittsfield, they're all in that same kind of right up against the bluff. And their water is, their treatment is chlorine, fluoride, and send it to the customer.
Yeah,
That's
so-
all the treatment that they do.
That's the whole.
Berry has
If
a
it's
soft
down
system, but
where,
that's
you
that's
still
more
have
of
to have access
a
to
customer convenience.
the well.
Yeah. A
And
small-
up top.
Yeah, a small fence like what we have now. But the whole point of
Does New Canton
one of the
have
big
same,
points of pulling this trigger is no more
water
treatment.
Source is Berry, because they got that right alongside the highway. Berry does.
Chlorine, fluoride.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
A long way.
So New Canton's water and.
Don't get that started.
So New Canton's water comes from basically the same place as, New Canton's got wells, Pike County Water District. They both have wells right there in New Canton. Their
Okay.
lines actually cross, so it's all basically the same water from Rockport where Pike County Water District's main plant is, New Canton for their other wells, the wells for the village of New Canton, wells for Berry and the wells for Pittsfield are all right along 96, it's all the same water.
I got you.
So, and we've had really good luck finding low iron, low nitrates. It's, in fact, at one time, Berry they had customers between their wells and the plant that were actually taking water that hadn't even been chlorinated. IEPA shut that down years ago and made them start adding chlorine at the wellhead. But that's the only treatment that any of them have.
So this is really good water.
Yeah, it's good water. Comes right out of the ground and is drinkable. IEPA would prefer it to be chlorinated and have fluoride added, but it's.
What's the purpose of that? I mean, if it's so pure, why they gotta add that?
Chlorine's just for disinfection purposes, to make sure that whether it's anything that's naturally occurring in the water or anything in the pipeline between that gets in along the way, the chlorine is there to disinfect that. And then the fluoride is it's an additive to supposed to increase dental health, but there's a lot of debate about that, and it's probably about to go away. That's been the big thing, that fluoride is probably gonna be dropped by the US EPA under this administration.
We're just talking about that.
Unreal.
The Indians use.
Those drips, all they consist of is two little bitty drip pumps about this big, just putting the drip line in. There is no more treatment facility needed.
So
And that's the whole point, because we're like
I know we're
200,
paying pretty good money to get it treated over here.
yeah,
Is that gonna eliminate them?
yeah, we don't need any treatment at all anymore.
And that's gonna go bye-bye, the treatment.
What about reverse osmosis? Is that the
No, that's-
homeowner's responsibility?
At the scale you would be looking at, reverse osmosis is financially infeasible.
That would be,
Yeah, it would
that's
be-
not included then, in other words.
No,
Okay.
there's no need for it.
So it's up to the homeowners?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's no need for it. It would meet all of the public drinking water standards as it comes out of the ground with chlorine and fluoride.
Gotcha.
All right. Does that about cover that till we get farther along? Okay. I don't have any other old business. I'm gonna move on to, thank you, Kevin.
No problem.
Move on to visitors' comments. Ron, Mr. Green? Okay. Stephen? All right.
Nothing you guys can think.
You're next. So now we'll do board member comments.
Cool.
What do you got?
Me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and I think it was old business, it was voted on last month, that, burning of trash. Now, is that trash? Is that like stuff you bring out of your house? Or is
Kitchen
it
trash.
leaves and sticks?
You can burn leaves and sticks all you want.
Still burn leaves and sticks, okay, that's
Just
yard waste we can burn, but
just
not
don't be
human
an
waste.
idiot and burn it right next to your house and it blows into your neighbor's window. Like, take into account the wind.
Okay, but I don't do any burning, but I had a
Yeah.
question on that myself, and other than my,
I can show you the ordinance, how it's worded.
yeah.
It does not call out
It's like
certain,
these burn bins people have out in their yard. and
Those are not-
And that's
no.
no good.
I mean, if you're putting sticks in them, it's fine, or
Yeah.
paper,
Okay.
but, you don't wanna put your kitchen trash or
Right.
anything that's gonna stink, diapers, and
People are burning trash.
it happens.
No, it is.
I know somebody burns garbage,
Every now and then I gotta
smell it.
send somebody a warning. I'll show you what the ordinance words.
Yeah, but my smoke coming out my chimney's okay. 'cause
Oh,
it's
yeah.
wood.
Bring it on.
That was good.
Sticks, leaves, limbs, whatever. I mean, we cut down that tree in my backyard and I burnt the whole thing in the backyard. So,
I
just be
used to
smart.
get ash from my
Yeah.
garden.
just be smart about it. What else you got?
I noticed that the burn pile's getting larger. Did those trees come from over here on, East Street? They were taken down.
Some of them did, yeah. I told them to take them out there.
Okay, so I was over there today and, I mean, that's fine. We're gonna have to clean that up one of these days.
Yep. Yep, we got all the wood chips I'm gonna haul. I had all the wood chips from that go over there. Somebody, without permission, dumped a whole bunch of wood chips over there, but we can use them. And then about time to push up and burn. The pile's getting big enough to probably burn soon. There's high winds this week, so we won't consider it this week, but that's one of the benefits of having it out there. When it was over here, we had to keep it down. And anyway, anything else? All right, Bobby.
I had some, but I can't remember what it was.
All right,
I can't think of it. But no,
Sorry.
don't forget your check from last month.
no,
It's over there.
Talking about your burning, would you please go tell Dale Meyer that when we have a red flag, burn thing, not to burn his cardboard boxes in the backyard, cause it goes set my house on fire.
Okay, I will.
He gets out there and he's just throwing it around and I'm going, oh my God.
Yep, there is actually a burn ban in Pike County right now.
Well, that's
So-
what I thought I saw on, I think I had it on my phone.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So,
Just in case you're interested, when I was driving down here tonight, it looked like West Quincy, Illinois was on fire.
oh good.
I think they're
People
having
burning?
some, well, I think they've had a wildfire in.
Oh,
Mm.
like a field fire.
Yeah, it's time for us to burn our ditches out, going south out of town and then to the Methodist church, but there's no way we're gonna do it right now.
Right.
But,
I didn't know it was a burn ban.
huh?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't remember.
I don't know. I've seen it on Facebook, so it's probably true.
Well,
It's on the internet. It's gotta be
50
true.
mile an hour wind gust on Wednesday.
I would suggest if you're gonna do something relatively of good size, call the county and ask them.
Yeah.
I may or may not have had the fire department call me twice last summer. It wasn't a big fire, but I was burning that tree we cut down. Call the county first and double check for a burn ban.
285-5011.
Yep, they'll tell you.
No, Kelsey's
I'm not
tired.
gonna monitor
This is
burn
gonna be up in
bans.
our
I
yard.
don't have,
Fear coming.
Yeah, it's just, most people, well, never mind.
all right. It's a can of worms.
Okay. I think I talked about it before. The Pike County Art Guild has Deb and I talked to them, I guess, about, you guys can pass it around, doing the, sign for, looks like the postcard has all 3 mascots that would have been a part of Whole at some point.
Oh, that's
The
cool.
livery stable, the bins, the old water tower, a little lawnmower, the train depot. So they gave us a quote So it's two pieces of like, I think it was marine grade, is that what
Yeah,
they said?
marine
Yeah.
grade plywood.
Plywood. And then, so they said they could do an 8x8 square, or we could do it 4 feet tall and 16 feet long, which at first I didn't really like that idea, but then I measured the post on the sign at that lot along the highway that Fannie Lou has, and the posts are 14 feet apart.
Oh, so 16 feet.
So it would hang out a little bit farther than the signs that are up there now, but we could do that and liven that up a little bit.
So is this a welcome to Hull sign out here and out here? Is that?
Yeah.
Well-
No, it's just gonna be a sign.
No.
You want a red
No.
tractor?
Where the lot is.
I think I took a
Yeah.
picture. I tried to get it to print. Hold on.
So right across from the hotel,
Yeah, the
Just
big
sold
sign
mine
over
on
there,
this one.
okay.
we wanna put something on it.
This sign
Um,
that's
Yeah.
there now. If
Yeah.
we put it, because they can do it long ways.
Yeah, so is that vinyl?
They said they put it on the marine grade plywood, and then they put several coats of sealant on it. They
Yeah.
use an outdoor paint, which is why it's $2,000 to the art guild. So it's local. I think
Local
there was
artists.
3 or 4 ladies who work on them. There's one at Barry. They said there's one at Pearl. There's several.
Yeah, the one in Barry, they have one on the side of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going up on that old sign you sent? That'd be
That's
awesome.
the idea.
Mhm.
I remember when that used to look really good.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
the
what we've
other-
been talking about, trying to figure out how to redo it, but.
Well, and the it's kind of separately, the high school, the art teacher said they would be interested in doing some sort of a mural too. So if we wanted to make it two-sided, she said if we provided them something to paint on, that they would do it. I asked her how much, and she said it would be like a learning thing, as long as they didn't have to buy the plywood or the whatever we were going to use for the sign.
So this on one side, and then we could have the school kids do
Right.
the other side.
Yeah, so then it would kind of be more finished. And I don't know if that's something we want to talk about
So all we
later.
gotta do is provide the plywood.
Yeah, and
Well,
I told her
I'm
we
sure
would
we probably
probably
need to-
make some sort of a donation to cover the cost of paint, and you know that'd be a lot.
So I think that paint
A
is
lot of
expensive,
paint.
and
That's a,
Before West Pike, there were the whole Hornets.
that's,
Yeah, it's on there.
Oh, is it?
Yep, the Hornets, the Cardinals.
Whole Hornets
Oh, okay.
before the school
And
burned
she
down?
did say that was
Oh,
a rough
okay.
sketch. So she said if we wanted to, if we decided we wanted to
Yeah,
do
right
it, we could send
Water.
actual pictures of
Water on there.
the old logos or anything like that, so they could make them a little bit more accurate.
So what I'll suggest is, everybody think about, and we can set a vote on that next meeting. Would that be,
That's fine.
or you wanting?
Deb doesn't
I
quite
mean,
know, but we know.
I don't
it
have the
is.
vote on the vote on the agenda, so,
Okay. I mean, we talked about it before. Does it count as old business?
Right.
That's true.
advice from my counsel.
He's like, wow.
You gotta put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I suggested.
I'm glad I paid my way.
Okay, so next question, because
All right.
theirs is 2,000. So just for the next meeting.
Mhm.
So it's 2,000. They would paint this. They said a deposit of 1,000 up front so they can buy supplies and get started, and then they will deliver it. Hanging it, however we're gonna mount it, is on the village.
We can do that.
Yeah. Well, and with those posts already there, I figured it'd probably be. And so then the other, when they delivered it, would be the other 1,000. So if you guys are interested in that, do you want me to price the plywood and talk about some sort of a donation for the high school kids so that we can have one on each side of the
Yeah, I
sign?
think better.
I mean, it wouldn't be, and I could see if they could draw something up to like.
Are they coming up with their own ideas?
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't think, I mean,
Right.
I'd invite him to come up to the museum and look at, so like when we had the Centennial, we had, people submit their drawings for with the Centennial.
Oh, yeah.
And we have that
And
book.
the
It's
line out.
this thick full of old drawings that were submitted in 1971. Yeah, because we were formed in 1871, so that's just an option.
Okay.
Want to line that all? We can line that out before the next meeting. We can have it on the agenda.
So does that sound good? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I would
awesome.
think we could have a pretty big, nice sign for,
I mean, we can't vote on it, but
yeah. So
um,
just an idea.
if we're gonna go ahead and move forward to try and get this idea, it's gonna cost $2,000
Yeah.
For the
And
one
then
side.
whatever.
for the one
Yes.
side plus materials on the second.
It looked a
So
lot better than what's up there right now.
Oh,
it looked good when they
It
first did it.
And it,
Those
and
post 4x4s are
They're steel
Steel.
4-inch
steel.
pipe.
4-inch
Steel
pipe.
Pipe on the ground. Anything going away.
I've been there a long
How big
time.
is this? 4 feet by 8 feet?
16.
It's 2
16.
pieces of plywood. So
They're
they
4 by
said they
8.
can do, yeah, she said she can do them where it would be 8 by 8,
8
like
by
a
8.
square, but those posts out there are 14 feet.
14.
So she said they could turn them end to end and paint
Bend
it.
one way.
And then it
Hang
was,
solar lights on it.
yes.
Maybe.
And then it would be,
Put lights on. Yeah.
you know, you'd have more room for the letters
spread
and
it
they
out
could
more.
make the
Right.
pictures a little bit
Is
more
this the
detailed.
final draft?
No, this
Okay,
was
that's
just
an
kind of,
idea to kind of look at.
yeah. And I did put a thing on Facebook, I don't even know when, at some point in the last 2 year, and people kind of voted on things that
Things that
they
they
thought
like.
represented whole, and yeah.
And I personally think that's gonna take care of the speeders.
Listen, you know what I want
Because
They
they're
might
gonna
be
slow down and look
looking
at
at
it.
it.
Yeah, they're gonna want to see
You know
all
what I want to
the.
add?
What?
Along the bottom, right in here.
The snail
Do it.
part.
Snail.
That's the one.
That snail's got mixed reviews.
Get rid of that snail.
Oh, he ain't going anywhere.
He needs
Alright.
to be
All
It
right.
does need to be painted.
So I will reach out to the art teacher and see if maybe she can have, I think she said she has 3 or 4 kids that she would have work on it. And then she said she would work on it too, cause if it's at the April meeting,
They're not gonna have much time.
they're gonna have to be ready to roll whenever.
That's true. So the high school though, that's all that's gonna cost us is 2 pieces of plywood.
And the
Well, I think it's not like the kids at the school have any budget. We should probably allot for some, whatever that same kind of plywood is, and some good, whatever kind of paint these other people use.
If the school part can move forward,
Yeah.
we'll just go to Lowe's and get some plywood.
Like the good marine plywood.
Yeah, marine plywood and some paint, and they can have at it.
Which I looked,
And then we'll put it
I
up
tried
later.
to look, I think the stuff that said marine grade at Home Depot was like $127 a sheet. But for,
Man,
You can build
I'm
a
like,
boat out of it.
I'm thinking, oh, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound bad.
all right. We'll move forward with that. So if you want to notify them, we can go ahead and get them those materials right away.
okay,
All right.
I'll
sounds
just
good.
donate
Quentin?
some myself.
Okay.
I think it's about time to adjourn the meeting.
All right. Well, before I do that, I got to throw one more angle at you.
No, we're done.
Agreed.
Town cleanup. We usually do in March. We already have it allotted for.
We didn't do
May.
it till May last year. We usually do it in April.
Whatever. So we have options. So surrounding, let's just cover this real quick.
Be cleaning up.
Surrounding towns have moved instead of the cleanup where you drag your stuff out in the street to just having a dumpster. I understand that it's more convenient to pull the stuff out in the street. It's really cool that you can do that.
He's heard Deb say she hates that idea.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas.
So, yeah.
It is.
So,
like a shopping
but
thing for some people.
the way we do it, people can just pull their stuff out and we pay between $3,000 and $3,500 to trash trucks to come around and pick everybody's stuff up. We can get dumpsters for $200. I'm not
$200.
Two-
$200 a piece.
$200 is what the cleanup will cost us.
I haven't
Um,
gotten an estimate from
that's through the county. Bobby and I just went through this whole thing with the county and dumpster price. We can get a 30-yard dumpster for $200.
You know, a lot of people come through before the dumpsters do and take a lot of it.
I'm just
No.
saying,
What do
I
we
that's
pay?
the
What
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it was
goes out to the
$3,500
street,
last
I
year.
Get rid of half of it
Stand by.
before.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on
I'll
this,
take it for it later on.
but we do have, it's already in appropriations, so if we wanted to spend the three whatever, we can. But we also have, we could tell people that if they, they can't get the stuff up over the top, we got an excavator with a thumb on it.
Yeah.
Throw all your crap in the road.
Did we
And
have Big River do it last year?
We did have, Big River do it last year. I talked
so
to the
we can
track
table
over
this
there.
for another month if
Right.
you
It
want.
was
And where we gonna put
3,100.
them?
3,100.
We used to put them down
Yeah,
there
but
by the
have
old
people take their stuff to
ATM.
the
That's
river
what
tracks
I-
or whatever.
Well, that's my concern, and
Yeah.
that's where we had disagreements, because if I'm a single girl and I got some heavy stuff to move and I got no truck,
Yeah,
Call your
exactly.
neighbor.
Call your neighbor.
Yeah, God.
you know, it just, I feel like it would hinder, I feel like more people are apt to throw their stuff out in their front yard than to
So
drag
how
it down
long-
the
We
street.
could,
How
kind of fun to
long-
see how quick it
Yeah.
gets picked up.
You can sit out there dark.
Yeah.
How long do you anticipate if you didn't do the cleanup, leaving the dumpsters? Is it a weekend?
I'm gonna
Is it
say a week. I'd
So
like to
then-
leave it out for a week and then also do another one in the fall.
Does somebody man it for a week? Because I know, like at Kinderhook, Jim's always digging microwaves and
That's true, because people will
Tires.
pay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oxygen
that's a down.
tanks.
That's a downside.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, $200 is still a lot cheaper than almost $4,000.
It is.
I mean, it is.
3,100. We're rounding down.
We paid for two of them
3,000.
signs.
For all that matters, we could just tell people to put it in a pile and then we'll thumb it out with it. You know that excavator, and we can thumb out all
Well,
that
we
crap
discussed that
from the
last
cab.
year.
$600, that's still cheaper than, man, that's a lot of money getting saved.
All right, let's table that. It's almost 8:30.
We're
Don't
always
make
on
the difference.
Kennedy.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second, somebody, come on. All right.
I'll say.
All in favor?
All right.
Right.
Nays?
Who was first? Quentin?
Yep.
Do you have a safe place for these? Because I do not.
Claire will handle it.
I like it that way.
Anytime you wanna blame anything on somebody, just pick her.
Clear out the bin.
Kim, since this was kind of our baby, you can have those.
I mean,
Um,
I'm just saying.